You walk out of the dental clinic with a numb mouth and a bill for $1,600. The appointment itself lasted less than an hour. A little anesthetic, and a drill, a crown, a few digital scans. That's it. As you stare at the invoice, it's hard not to ask the same question millions of Americans ask every year. How can fixing a single tooth possibly cost this much? Is the dentist simply charging whatever they want? Is dentistry one of the most profitable businesses in healthcare? Or is there something happening behind those clinic doors that patients never get to see? Most people assume they're paying for 45 minutes of a dentist's time, but that assumption is about to fall apart. Because today, we're not going to follow the patient. We're going to become the owner. Imagine you've spent years in dental school, completed your clinical training, earned your license, and finally decided it's time to build something of your own. Not just a place to treat patients, a business. Welcome to Bright Smile Dental, a 5-operatory clinic you're about to open in suburban Dallas, Texas. Right now, it doesn't exist. It's just an empty commercial space sitting between a family medical practice and a coffee shop. No chairs, no X-ray machines, no patients, no revenue. Just an empty shell and a dream. At first glance, opening a dental clinic sounds like a safe investment. People will always need dentists. Teeth don't care whether the economy is booming or in recession. Cavities still happen. Accidents still happen. Children still need braces. Adults still crack teeth. Demand seems almost guaranteed. But if demand is so reliable, why do so many dentists spend years paying off debt? Why do some clinics close within a few years? And why are large corporations buying independent dental practices across America? Those questions don't start with teeth. They start with money. Before you ever see your first patient, you have to answer a much bigger question. Where should you build your clinic? You could choose a wealthy suburb where patients are more likely to accept cosmetic treatments like veneers and Invisalign. The revenue potential is attractive, but so is the competition. Every established practice already has loyal patients, experienced staff, and years of online reviews. Winning people over won't be easy. Or you could open in a growing neighborhood with fewer competitors. Rent might be cheaper. New families are moving in every month. But there may also be more patients relying on dental insurance, where reimbursement rates are lower and profit margins can quickly disappear. Then comes another decision that will shape your business for years. Do you accept PPO insurance plans to attract more patients? Or do you stay mostly fee-for-service, charging your own prices, but risking a much smaller pool of customers? Choose the wrong strategy, and your appointment book could stay half-empty. Choose the right one, and you might build a thriving practice. Already, you've made several business decisions, and you still haven't treated a single tooth. Then your architect slides a thick folder across the table. Inside are the construction plans. That's when you realize something shocking. The expensive part of dentistry isn't fixing teeth. It's building a place where you're legally allowed to do it. And then before your first patient ever walks through the front door, you're about to spend more money than most people spend buying a house. That number probably caught you off guard. $1.3 to $1.5 million before your doors even open. And the surprising part, you haven't bought most of the expensive equipment yet. The empty building you leased is nothing like a dental clinic. To everyone else, it's just another commercial unit. But to a dentist, it's a highly regulated healthcare facility that has to meet strict building codes, safety standards, infection control requirements, accessibility laws, and radiation regulations. You can't simply paint the walls, move in a few chairs, and start seeing patients. Almost everything has to be built from scratch. The first people you hire aren't dentists, they're architects. They begin transforming your empty shell into a carefully designed practice where every room has a purpose. The reception area isn't just where patients check in, it's your first impression. Research has consistently shown that patients often begin judging a clinic within moments of walking through the door. A welcoming environment can influence comfort, trust, and even whether they'll return. Then comes the treatment area. You've decided to build 5 operatories, not because you expect to fill them immediately, but because every extra room creates future earning potential. While one patient receives a routine cleaning, another can be having a filling. A third may be getting a crown prepared. Meanwhile, a hygienist finishes another appointment. The rooms become the factory floor of your business. The more efficiently they're used, the more revenue the clinic can produce. But building those rooms isn't cheap. Each operatory needs specialized plumbing running beneath the floor, compressed air lines, vacuum suction lines, medical-grade electrical wiring, water filtration systems. network connections, cabinetry designed specifically for infection control. And because this is healthcare, every surface must withstand years of aggressive disinfectants without deteriorating. Then comes something patients almost never notice: the X-ray room. Unlike an ordinary office, the walls often require radiation shielding designed to meet local regulations and inspection requirements. Depending on the equipment and local building requirements, that alone can add tens of thousands of dollars to the construction budget. Then there are accessibility requirements. Doorways must accommodate wheelchairs. Bathrooms must comply with ADA standards. Hallways need sufficient clearance. Emergency exits, fire suppression systems, HVAC modifications, medical waste storage. Every requirement adds another invoice. By the time construction crews finish framing walls, running utilities, and installing cabinetry, you've already invested hundreds of thousands of dollars, and there still isn't a single piece of dental equipment inside. Then comes the furniture, the reception desk, comfortable seating, consultation rooms, staff offices, break room, storage, digital check-in stations. None of these generate revenue directly, but every one of them is necessary to run a modern practice. As invoices continue arriving, your accountant quietly reminds you of something else. You've been spending money for months without earning a single dollar. Interest on your loans may already be accumulating. Lease payments continue. Insurance premiums begin. Software subscriptions activate. Utilities start billing. Your cash reserve, the money set aside simply to survive until the practice gains momentum, starts shrinking before your first appointment is ever booked. That's why experienced practice owners don't just budget for construction. They budget for time. Many new clinics take months to build a stable patient base. Without enough working capital, even a beautifully designed practice can run out of cash long before it runs out of potential. And then comes the biggest purchase of all: the equipment. This is the moment most people imagine when they think about opening a dental clinic. The sleek treatment chairs, the digital scanners, the X-ray machines, the technology that makes modern dentistry possible. What most patients don't realize is that a single treatment room can easily contain equipment worth more than a brand new luxury car. And once you see what's inside one operatory, that $1,600 dental bill will start making a lot more sense. Walk into almost any modern dental clinic, and you'll probably notice the television on the ceiling, the bright examination light, and the chair you're sitting in. It all looks fairly ordinary, comfortable, clean, maybe even a little simple. What you don't see is that you're sitting in one of the most expensive rooms in the entire building. That single operatory, the room where one patient is treated at a time, can easily contain $200,000 to over $500,000 worth of equipment, depending on the clinic's technology and specialty. And remember, you didn't build just one, you built 5. The centerpiece is the dental chair itself. At first glance, it looks like an oversized reclining chair. In reality, it's a highly engineered medical device designed to position patients with millimeter precision while integrating power, water, air, suction, and instrument controls into a single unit. A complete chair package, including the delivery unit, operating light, assistance station, and installation, can cost anywhere from $25,000 to over $70,000. Then there are the handpieces. Patients often think they're just expensive drills. In reality, they're precision instruments spinning at up to 400,000 revolutions per minute. A single high-speed handpiece can cost $800 to $2,000, and every treatment room needs multiple handpieces in constant rotation while others are being sterilized. Next comes digital imaging. Years ago, dental clinics relied on traditional X-ray films that required chemicals, darkrooms, and time. Today, almost everything is digital. A digital intraoral X-ray system often costs $10,000 to $30,000. A panoramic X-ray machine, used to capture the entire mouth in a single image, can cost $40,000 to $100,000. And if your practice offers implants, complex surgery, or advanced diagnosis, you'll probably invest in a CBCT scanner. That's another $100,000 to $250,000, sometimes even more depending on the model and software. One machine, one room, $250,000. Then comes one of the fastest growing technologies in dentistry, the intraoral scanner. Instead of filling your mouth with trays of impression material, the dentist simply moves a handheld scanner around your teeth, creating a highly accurate 3D digital model in minutes. Patients love the experience. Labs receive the files instantly. Treatment becomes faster. But the scanner itself usually costs between $20,000 and $50,000, and software subscriptions often continue long after the hardware has been paid for. The list keeps growing. Curing lights, ultrasonic scalers, electric motors, digital sensors, intraoral cameras, surgical kits, endodontic motors, implant systems, specialized instruments. Each one solves a specific clinical problem. Each one also carries a surprisingly large price tag. And then there are the machines patients almost never notice. Somewhere behind the walls, an industrial air compressor supplies clean compressed air to every treatment room. Beside it, a powerful vacuum system continuously removes saliva, water, and debris during procedures. A water purification system helps maintain clean treatment lines. Backup power protects sensitive digital equipment. Server racks connect computers throughout the clinic. None of these machines impress patients. But if even one of them fails, the entire clinic can stop operating. Every hour the clinic sits idle means empty chairs, canceled appointments, and lost revenue. That's why equipment maintenance isn't optional. Most manufacturers recommend scheduled servicing throughout the year. Compressors need inspections. Vacuum pumps require maintenance. Dental chairs wear out. X-ray equipment must remain calibrated. Software receives continuous updates. Some clinics spend tens of thousands of dollars every year simply maintaining the equipment they already own. And eventually, everything reaches the end of its life. Technology moves forward. Digital imaging improves. New scanners become faster. Artificial intelligence begins assisting diagnosis. Patient expectations change. A clinic that looked cutting-edge 10 years ago may already feel outdated today, which means successful owners don't just budget for buying equipment. They budget for replacing it. The investment never really ends. But surprisingly, even after spending millions on construction and technology, you still don't have your most valuable asset. Because the equipment doesn't treat patients. People do. And the biggest expense inside almost every successful dental clinic isn't the technology. It's the team standing behind it. At this point, your clinic finally looks real. The construction is finished. The treatment rooms are fully equipped. The computers are online. The lights turn on. The compressors are running. Everything is ready. There's just one problem. A dental clinic without people is nothing more than an expensive showroom. The equipment doesn't greet patients. It doesn't answer phone calls. It doesn't take x-rays. It doesn't clean teeth. And it certainly doesn't build relationships that keep patients coming back. To turn your investment into a functioning business, you need a team. And that team will soon become your largest ongoing expense. You begin with yourself. As the owner dentist, you're also the primary producer of revenue. Every crown, implant, root canal, and veneer you complete generates income for the practice. But unlike many business owners, your time is physically limited. You only have so many hours in a day. Every appointment occupies a chair. Every procedure occupies your schedule, which means your income is directly tied to how efficiently your day is managed. As your patient base grows, you hire an associate dentist. An experienced associate in the United States may earn $150,000 to well over $250,000 per year, or receive a percentage of the revenue they produce. It sounds expensive, but if they're productive enough, they also allow the clinic to treat more patients than you ever could alone. Then come the hygienists. Many patients think of them as the people who clean teeth. In reality, they're one of the most important financial engines of the entire practice. Routine cleanings, periodontal maintenance, and preventive care keep patients returning every 6 months. Those visits don't just generate revenue today. They create opportunities to detect cavities, cracked teeth, gum disease, and other treatments that may be needed in the future. A full-time hygienist can produce hundreds of thousands of dollars in annual revenue while helping maintain long-term patient relationships. Depending on experience and location, hygienists often earn $80,000 to $120,000 or more per year, with wages continuing to rise in many parts of the country. Next are the dental assistants. To patients, they pass instruments and prepare treatment rooms. Behind the scenes, they do much more. They sterilize instruments, prepare materials, take x-rays where permitted, manage inventory, set up procedures, assist during treatment, turn over rooms between patients. Every minute they save allows the dentist to spend more time producing revenue instead of performing administrative tasks. Then there's the front desk. They answer calls, schedule appointments, verify insurance, collect payments, submit claims, handle financing. Respond to online inquiries. Manage recalls. Coordinate treatment plans. One missed phone call could be a patient choosing another clinic. One scheduling mistake could leave a treatment room sitting empty for an hour. One insurance error could delay thousands of dollars in reimbursement. Finally, you hire an office manager. As the practice grows, someone has to oversee payroll, purchasing, supplier relationships, staffing, compliance, banking, and daily operations. The better they're at solving problems, the more time you can spend treating patients instead of managing the business. But salaries are only part of the equation. Every employee also brings additional costs: payroll taxes, health insurance contributions, retirement benefits, workers' compensation, continuing education, uniforms, paid holidays, paid sick leave, recruitment, training, overtime. A salary of $60,000 can easily cost the business significantly more once those additional expenses are included. Then comes a reality every clinic owner eventually experiences. Someone calls in sick. Your hygienist wakes up with the flu. An assistant has a family emergency. The receptionist resigns unexpectedly. Suddenly, your carefully planned schedule begins to unravel. Appointments need to be moved. Patients become frustrated. Treatment rooms sit idle. Revenue disappears, even though payroll and rent continue as usual. That single empty chair may cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars in lost production by the end of the day. Before long, your monthly payroll has grown to somewhere between $85,000 and $105,000. And for many private practices, payroll alone represents 30 to 35% of total revenue, making it the single largest ongoing expense in the business. But the salaries are paid. The team is assembled. Patients are finally walking through the door. For the first time since opening, money is flowing into your bank account. It feels like you've made it. Until you realize, almost every dollar that comes in is already promised to someone else. And that's where the real economics of a dental clinic begin. Every dollar that comes in is already promised to someone else. Payroll is usually the biggest expense, consuming 30 to 35% of revenue. Dental laboratories charge for every crown, bridge, and denture they manufacture. Supplies like gloves, masks, anesthetics, filling materials, and sterilization products constantly need replacing. Your rent or mortgage is due every month. Loan repayments continue on the millions you borrowed to build the clinic. Insurance premiums protect the practice. Software subscriptions keep patient records, digital imaging, and appointment scheduling running. Utilities power compressors, X-ray machines, sterilization equipment, and climate control. Marketing keeps attracting new patients. And then there are taxes. By the time everyone has been paid, the money left over looks very different from the revenue patients imagine. A clinic collecting $250,000 a month isn't generating $250,000 in profit. A well-managed private practice may achieve an operating margin of around 15 to 22%, while many clinics earn less, especially in their early years. That's the difference between revenue and profit. Revenue is every dollar that enters the business. Profit is what remains after paying employees, suppliers, lenders, and every operating expense. It's a distinction most patients never think about when they receive a dental bill. To them, it feels like the clinic earned $1,600 from a single crown. But from the owner's perspective, that payment is immediately divided among payroll, lab fees, materials, rent, insurance, taxes, and loan repayments before a single dollar becomes profit. And that raises one final question. After investing more than $1 million and carrying all this risk, is owning a dental clinic actually worth it? After everything you've seen, you might be wondering why anyone would open a dental clinic in the first place. If the startup costs are measured in millions, if payroll is your biggest expense, if equipment constantly needs replacing, and if every dollar seems to disappear the moment it arrives, where's the reward? The answer lies in something every successful business owner understands. A dental clinic isn't built to make money in its first year. It's built to create long-term value. Once a practice develops a loyal patient base, much of its revenue becomes predictable. Patients return every 6 months for cleanings. Families recommend friends. Children grow into adult patients. Successful treatments generate referrals. Over time, the clinic becomes less dependent on advertising and more dependent on reputation. That's when the economics begin to change. A well-managed private practice, generating around $2.50 to $3 million in annual revenue, may produce an operating profit of roughly 15 to 22%. After loan payments, reinvestment, and taxes, many owners can earn somewhere between $300,000 and $550,000 per year, although results vary widely depending on location, specialty, insurance mix, and how efficiently the clinic is run. But the income is only part of the return. Every loan payment increases the owner's equity. Every loyal patient increases the value of the practice. A thriving dental clinic can eventually become an asset worth several $1,000,000, capable of being sold when the owner retires or joins a larger dental organization. In other words, the business itself becomes part of the owner's wealth. Of course, success is never guaranteed. Some clinics struggle with poor locations. Others become overloaded with debt. Some lose patients to stronger competitors. And some never generate enough revenue to justify the investment. Owning a dental clinic isn't a shortcut to becoming wealthy. It's a long-term business built on trust, reputation, and years of consistent execution. So, was that $1,600 crown expensive? From the patient's chair, it certainly feels that way. But after looking behind the scenes, you realize you weren't paying for just one procedure. You were helping support an entire business designed to deliver safe, reliable healthcare every single day. And that's the hidden economics behind why dental clinics cost so much to run.